Namaskar Mitro, Namaskar friends. This is Karthik Pandit here again, along as usual with my friend Dr. C.A. Chaitanya Shah for our episode number 8. This episode is focused on the budget provisions specific to MSME and the important ones. The intent of this episode is to bring out pointers for MSME owners or SME owners, and should they have query, it would be advisable they reach out to us or they reach out to their consultants for detailed understanding and interpretation once the act is passed. These are provisions, as you know, and final we'll have to wait for the parliament to pass the bill. So without any ado, let me go to the slides.
Hi, friends. As my friend Karthik said, in this particular episode, we'll be talking about the budget 2023 provisions, particularly relevant to the MSME segment. We regret that we are a little late. We could have come out a little earlier, but since we have recently started this series, we are going to dwell with it. As Karthik mentioned, we will be touching upon the important points which the MSME owners should look at and dwell deeper into it as regards its application in individual cases and the detailing part of it. What we are touching upon is basically the key points which have been included in the budget. The first point which we need to understand is that government has very clearly accepted and is working on the lines that MSMEs are the growth engine of the economy. And particularly in these two areas, namely GDP growth and the employment. Considering that, they are very keen that if our GDP growth has to be more than 2-digit, and the employment has to move from 11 crores to 16 crores, which is the the target thing, following the 5 particular areas which have been touched upon are in context of the same. First is the DigiLocker, storing important documents. This has been one of the major issues with the MSMEs, particularly the smaller ones, finding the documents at one place. So here there are two things which they are going to do. One is that you can store all your important documents so that the security and the preservation of the documents is available at one place. And moreover, on the other side, when any particular agency wants these particular documents, those documents, they will have to accept it from the DigiLocker. For example, if you notice, earlier, the car registration documents, driving license and all that, the department used to want look at it on a physical basis from the drivers. Now the DigiLocker is applicable and you can do it.
Yeah, also adding to that, Chaitanya,
yes,
there is a provision of masking, because there are stories about misuse of especially Aadhaar card and other things.
True.
So there is a whole masking provision. So with a masked information, that document will be able to be shared safely from a government maintained locker, digital locker.
Yes, that's the whole purpose. It should be secured. At the same time, it should be very easy to operate.
True.
Second one is the revamped credit guarantee scheme. As we all know, one of the major issues with the MSMEs, particularly the smaller units, the entrepreneurs, their major problem is with respect to the availability of finance. Government has released additional 9,000 crores and making quite a few of these schemes additional collateral free. So the security issue which was there with the borrowers is going to be relaxed to some extent. And of course, government expects, if you see, this government has been believing in transparency and trust. So this is a step further in that direction. They also are working and instructed the banks to reduce the cost of credit by 1%, which will be a huge relief to the MSME borrowers. Third is Unified Skill India digital platform. As we discussed in one of our earlier episode, skill development and the issues with regard to the skilled manpower is a very big issue with the MSMEs. Government is very keen that they are providing unified skill across the India so the people can be employed anywhere across the country. Besides, it will also generate the employment for the poor or the people who are in the lowest category within the country, who are unemployment or who are under the poverty line. There are certain schemes which the government works for the development of this skill, and there is a special department within the MSME. This will help not only the MSME owners to come out with the benefit where they will be able to get the skilled people all across the country, and people will also generate the employment and will help the economy in an overall manner. Next is presumptive taxation for micro turnover up to 2 crores. Now, this is a very important move, not only from the MSME point of view, but keeping in line with the government's philosophy. This government, right from stage one, right from day one, when they started the interacting with the industry, they have decided that we will trust the SSEs or the taxpayers rather than working with a distrust environment. And as a result, they want to have that there is a presumptive taxation for micro units with turnover of less than 2 crores. It will help the compliances requirement from the MSME point of view, as well as the paperwork from the point of view of the government. And it's a huge move which will really help the entire MSME community across the country. The next one is reduction allowed only when payment is made. One of the major issues which MSMEs are facing is the delayed payment by their clients or the customers. And as we all know, their major customers are large industries because they are a very powerful support system for the large industries. And in many cases, large industries delay or are not making timely payments. So the government is insisting that if you want to have a deduction of that expenditure in your tax returns, you ought to make the payment to the MSMEs on a timely basis.
And so then only claim deduction.
Yes, then only the deduction will be allowed.
Yeah.
So what happens, on one hand, the MSMEs will have an improved liquidity with them. And on the other hand, the large industries will get the tax benefit for having, if they don't make the payment, the tax deduction will go away. So these are the 5 major pointers which have come out from the budget of 2023. As Karthik mentioned in the beginning, if you have any specific query or if you want to know something in detail, you may please contact us, any one of us, and we'll be glad to take it up in one of the issues.
Yeah. So actually, if you look at the macro picture, the helicopter picture that comes out of this is that the MSME is now well placed. The government is trying to place the MSME on a better position by committing to ease of doing business. DigiLocker is an example. So same is the case with Unified Skill India and getting things on digital platform, having a presumptive tax, make things easy as far as your assessments are concerned, and deduction issue which will improve the liquidity. So overall, friends in MSME and SME, this is surely a positive budget, and it is up to you to take benefit of this and grow your business. And we hope that all these provisions are actually passed in the bill and they get implemented as soon as possible, because there is always a gap between the cup and the lip.